This meeting is held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, 10:4-6 at C. Annual notice having been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the New Jersey Sunday Herald and posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcement. Please rise and join me. Salute to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call roll.
Mr. Bongiovanni. Mr. Shirella.
Here.
Mr. Dellarina.
Here.
Ms. Crock.
Here.
Mr. Kusevich. Mr. Rossi. Mr. Taylor.
Here.
Mr. Wagner. Mr. Mezalewski.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Mayor Galati. Here. Chairman Ray.
Okay, the minutes. Motion is in order to approve the minutes of the September 17th, 2024 meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Shirella.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarina.
Abstain.
Ms. Crock.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Mezalewski.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes. Okay, resolutions. There's none on the agenda, but is there one? Is there
They're
one?
from the, yes, but they're not completed, yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we have no resolutions in the last meeting. Correspondence, do we have any correspondence? No, no escrow refunds. Bills. McDonald's, and that's it. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Mr. Shirella.
Yes.
Mr. Dellarina.
Yes.
Ms. Crock.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Mezalewski.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes. Okay, next item is zoning officer report. Nothing?
Nothing tonight, no.
Perfect. Discussion? Any discussion? Old business? New business? We have no continued applications, so we'll get on to the first new application. The first new application is Daryl Norman, block 30408, lot 25, 225 Lakeside Boulevard.
Please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Your full name, sir?
Daryl Norman.
Are you the property owner?
Yes,
Okay, Mr. Norman, I see you're here to, legitimize a two houses on one lot, but this was brought to our attention today, the construction work that was done without permits. You were issued a stop work order today. So I think, the best way to move forward is that, maybe you ask to continue this application till you go see Bill.
absolutely. Yeah, I
Donovan.
just spoke with Bill outside
He'll go
briefly.
through the
and-
whole thing, tell you if you need anything, this way you can, if you need any variances, you come back and you put them all together and handle them at once. So-
Absolutely.
So is that what you'd like to do?
I'd prefer,
Like
yeah,
to ask for,
absolutely.
okay. To when? Do you have a time frame? What do you think?
At the advisory of Bill, yeah.
Yeah, I think, potentially we're gonna need the zoning permits, gonna need to be reviewed. I'm anticipating expansion of the non-conforming use, so I think, it's gonna be renoticed. Is what I'm thinking on the surface. John and Eric are gonna need to go through it. So probably a couple months,
Okay, I mean, you good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, okay, you have a date? We'll kind of nail down a date or? yes.
Do you want to nail down a date or do you want to wait till we get the,
Well,
Maybe
the
just-
point is without further notices, well, no, he's gonna have.
Have to
give
notice.
further
Notice, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's-
he may, if there's an expansion, with the photograph, she'll have to evaluate whether that's an expansion or whether,
Okay,
I don't know whether it was an expansion or whether it was fixing the roof or what he was doing.
Well, there's the one part of the ordinance that says if there's any, if it's purely structural work for the existing structure, that's okay, but if we're doing any other structural work on it, it
Yeah.
requires the
so
variance.
Bill, why don't we say 2 months, and if he does have to renotice, he has ample time to
That would be-
renotice
that would be
properly.
appropriate.
So, okay, so 2
so
months.
2 months? Okay.
What specific date would we have there?
So then it would be in December, correct?
Yeah.
So then November,
So December.
First week in
Ninth.
December,
so the 3rd or the 17th?
let's shoot for December 3rd,
Sure.
okay?
Okay.
That is, I mean, right now, we'll see if he has to renotice, if it triggers anything that he,
Yes.
so right now it's without further notice, unless something pops up, he'll have to renotice. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have We have a date, so I need a motion to carry this application to December 3rd.
Make a motion.
Also,
Mr. Sherrill,
Yes.
Mr. Delarino,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
yes,
Mr. Mezzalewski,
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Abstain?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not.
Right.
Chairman Wright,
Yes,
apologize.
okay.
Thank you all.
See you in a couple months.
Sorry.
Thank you. All right, next application is Goose Creek Holdings LLC, block 5001, lot 1, 635 Madison Drive.
Good evening, ladies and
Bill?
gentlemen. Daniel Bankendorf from the law firm of Askin and Hooker, representing the applicant Goose Creek Holdings. Here on their behalf is John Wunderlich and Doug Dykstra. If you'd like, we can swear them in now in case they need to provide testimony. Mr. Wunderlich, if you'll approach, please raise your right hand.
you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Your full name, sir,
John Wonderly,
and what is your position with the applicant?
manager,
And spell your last name, please, for the record.
Wunderlich.
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your name, sir?
Doug Dykstra. Lawrence Road, Newton, New Jersey.
And you are a licensed.
Professional land surveyor and planner.
And your license is current.
Yes,
You testified before this board, I think.
I have.
Are his qualifications acceptable to the board to provide testimony?
Sure.
All right, thank you very much. This evening, we're here to discuss 635 Maxim Drive, block 50001, lot 1. It's a 53.334 acre lot in the R3 zone, single-family residential zone. The applicant seeks a subdivision this evening. It's lot 1. We'd like to make it lot 1 and 1.01. The entire lot is currently encumbered by a conservation easement under the Forest Legacy Plan. And so what the applicant is intending to do this evening is to separate the developed portion of the lot, which currently has a single-family residential home and detached garage on it, from the encumbered portion of the lot, the agricultural portion of the lot, just for the purpose of potentially being able to sell it or use it in other ways, but ultimately they'd have to come back before the board. But ultimately, it's just to subdivide it, to separate it from the agricultural portion. In order to do that, though, unfortunately, there are going to be two bulk variances required. One is for lot size and one is for lot depth. There are also a couple of pre-existing non-conforming variances that already exist with the property, but here to provide that testimony is Mr. Dykstra. Mr. Dykstra, if you wouldn't mind, please go through the plans and discuss the standards necessary for variance relief.
Okay, the subject property, lot 1, block 50001 is located.
What you're showing us is a large scale exhibit that is a blow up of what was supplied with the application, is that right?
This is the full size, two scale.
Full size.
Because you had to look at some smaller as a reduction.
Minus the highlighter, though, so we might want to mark it as A1.
That is exactly right.
Okay.
Okay, so the subject property in its entirety, tax lot 1, block 5001, is located at the intersection of Maxim Drive and Stand Up Sparta Road. This is the Hudson Farm, this is a portion of the Hudson Farm, the southerly portion, I would say. The subject lot, I highlighted in green. It runs along Lover's Run between Byram and Opakon. Comes to Maxim Drive, runs around a bridge, bump out of the Maxim Drive right away, and then goes along Maxim Drive and then all the way back along Stanhope Road right away.
Wow.
The proposed lot's boundaries are along the exception area of the conservation easement that was granted to the state of New Jersey. In other words, these lines were drawn by the state of New Jersey to accept this out of the easement. So this portion in yellow is not encumbered by the easement. That's why we're here tonight, to just separate that in fee as well.
So this lot line is proposed dovetails with the conservation easement
Right,
boundaries.
right. So to go to 5 acres per se, say we went for that, we would have to go to the state and have them cut back on their easement, which would never happen.
You're still proposing a 2 acre lot for that single family?
It's 2.187
187.
acres, yes.
Now, the two variances you needed are just a setback of the existing home and garage?
That's a pre-existing condition regardless.
Okay, and
So
what were
the
the
only,
two?
the only setbacks were like lot size, 5 acres, where 2.187 is proposed, and lot width is setback,
The lot depth,
lot depth. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's 300 where, 300 is required and 264 is proposed.
There'll be no change in the use of the property behind there, more or less?
Absolutely
It's just
not.
Everything's gonna stay as is, it's just,
It is, yep,
Separated
still gonna be
into pieces.
farmland, all of that. It just, it's one less step the applicant will have to take in going to the state. They won't have to go to the state if they want to clean up the residential portion of the property or something like that.
yeah, but right now, anything you do there, it's all
Right.
part of the.
We're gonna have to come back there regardless.
Just one other thing about the boundary lines, they were walked through between the owner and the state and negotiated. It took time to settle on the line. The state always wants more.
Is there documentation to that?
I was there for it.
Okay. But did the
So
state,
walked the lines with them, staked them out, then located and then put them on a plan.
they said that's okay, that doesn't interfere with anything, those state's good with those lines?
Right.
Okay.
And Mr. Dykstra, on Mr. Rushke's report. Is it Mr. Rushke? Yeah, I think it's, yeah. Yeah, the last item on there references the riparian buffers. Are we requesting a waiver with respect to that?
Yes, we would like to request a waiver for that, as we are not proposing any new improvements on either lot.
Is there a deed, I have about 4 or 5 deeds that you provided, I didn't see the deed for the conservation.
I can send that to you.
I'll make that part of it.
Condition of approval.
2018, I believe, more or less is the date.
Any members of the board have any questions for this applicant?
I'm kind of like the newest person, so I'll ask the stupidest question. I'm familiar with the intersection and the home and the property behind it is fairly steep, if I recall, just immediately off the highway. Is that productive farmland or is it just tagged as agricultural, not
When you see-
currently producing?
Where the
crop?
house is right here, you're absolutely correct. You
Yeah,
can see
they're
all
just
this,
way up
all
here.
this topo in here.
Yeah,
That's quite a grade change. But as soon as you get down to here, it becomes more of a meadow and you have relatively level fields. 1, 2, 3, 4,
right,
5,
right,
6 fields that are currently being paid.
okay. And the
And
plan
that is
for
a permitted use in it.
the other land is basically to keep it as it is.
Yeah, and it's wetland buffer. I mean.
Right,
it's-
and I
riparian
noticed some of
rights.
that, particularly by the bridge,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, thank you.
More questions? Okay, I'll open this application to the public. Is there anybody here from the public that would wish to comment on this application? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
Motion to approve. Subject to the condition of approval of supplying the conservation easement deed. Subject to items 1 through 4 of the technical review on the letter and granting the waiver for the riparian zone on the map.
That's good. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second it.
Mr. Shirella,
Yes.
Mr. Delarino,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Mazaluski,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Galati, Chairman Ray.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Going left on here is the work session.
Yes. Right, here we go.
See y'all later.
Okay, that concludes the new applications. The next item on the agenda is work sessions. We have one work session Patcher Van Davis? Somebody here? I mean, Bill, as a work session, no, I'm just saying as a work session, can the mayor
Well,
participate?
no,
It's gonna be a
this
D,
is gonna
yeah.
be D variance, so they should not.
There's extra
Short
document
night.
that I bring.
Okay,
Do you have something to hand
tell
out?
us what you're
Yeah,
looking
right
to do.
That's just extra additional document beside what you already have.
Don't swear you in because this is just a discussion session, so we won't vote one way or the other. It's just an exchange of ideas, nothing is said by you or the board is binding upon. either you or the board. Sure don't, You want to go? 20.
All right, we good?
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Patcherin Davis, and I'm the owner of KMP Realty LLC. The property address as 430 River Styx Road. And most of you probably know, as I also own Tristan Thai Cafe, right on River Styx Road. So what you have as a document, I would like to presenting just a simple sketch of a plan that I would like to expand a 2-unit of a studio apartment and a single home that I have an empty land right now, which I took a partial draw, just a simple sketch drawn from the actual blueprint that shown the land that I can essentially adding the 2 units of the studio apartment. And then the land right way back of the property that I would like to add a single home as that on the document that you have. And so with the empty lot right now, I was hope that is reasonable enough that I would add the value and add the revenue for the property. And as we are on the redevelopment plan, I hope that being reasonable enough plan that I can, presenting this all to you. So that's what I have.
So you're looking to extend the existing 1-story building further towards the property line. How much are you? looking-
Correct, that will be 2 units extended from what I exceeded.
How wide are each unit? How far out are you looking to go?
Basically, I believe that's what I have, 54 feet wide in that extent. I mean, pretty much what I can go the farthest as far as the property line go.
But how far is the end of the second studio from your property line?
The second studio, that then,
Because
How
if
much
I,
side yard are you gonna have left? Like, what, I mean, if you're proposing to go out 24 feet, I don't know, I don't know if you have a number going, going this way.
Right.
know?
that's what I had hoped, that I can go, as far as at the end of the property line, or what would, I haven't gone through the zoning or as far as surveying, as far as the property line go. And
Property line does she have to
Like, there's no
maintain?
scale on this.
That's gonna be the B1 zone, so let me check.
She's saying that I want to put a house on a vacant property. She wants to put a house on a vacant part of this property.
Yes, it's all,
Correct.
it's all.
So that's a use variance, but of course, this would be a site plan. This would require county approval. I suppose what she's intending to do is access that house to the current road opening, which provides parking spaces behind the building.
Yes,
So I guess
yes.
you're gonna go through there with a driveway.
Yes.
So county has to review this for site plan approval. And other than there being a vacant portion of this property, there would have to be some justification to grant a use variance to permit a residential structure in the commercial zone with a commercial building on it. And
I mean, it would
plenty
be
of other
different.
variances,
It
too.
would be different if you just coming to add 2 units onto the commercial portion of the building without adding the single family.
It would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
The B1, I don't, does the B1 allow the residential?
There's no residential element, only in the overlay zone if you were redeveloping the property.
So she'd need a variance for that, but it would be a much easier argument to make because it's existing. It would be an expansion of existing, put a new home on there is a completely new non-conforming use.
But as far as the redevelopment plan, isn't that on the, I allow to multi-family residents, is that allowing as far as that go?
Well, I think that it's already a multifamily dwelling already.
Right.
correct? So, I mean,
Knowing back, back the end of the plan that was already zoning or as of, there was a single home
yeah,
right on the essential blueprint itself. So that came across the idea, if it was then already a zoning, would that be a possibility that I can re-application, rezoned, or whatever I need to go through in that order to
that's not
expand
permitted in
and-
No,
that zone.
you'd need a use, the way this is proposed, as I understand it, you need a use variance to construct a single-family home on the property as an entirely different use. You need an expansion of the existing multifamily unit. That would require a variance for expansion of the non-conforming use. It's a lower bar, lower standard proof. The justification to create a new residential structure, it can't just be, well, I can make some money by doing that. It would be
If
worth
it
more, the
was-
property would be worth more, so,
If
you
it
need
was a
planner's
hardship,
testimony.
like, I plan to live there to look over my business, is that a lower bar?
Well, no, because that's personal to, it's that I'm coming in here, I intend to do that, to look over my business, but then next month I decide I want to, move to Florida because the weather's nicer. So we can't require
You approve the
somebody-
building, not the person.
the occupancy of that by a property owner.
When I looked at your plans from the earlier material the board received, I guess the question I had is you had 2 studios side by side. The one issue is always how close do you go to your property? And the second issue is how close is your neighbor to
Right,
the edge of your property? Just from a safety standpoint, if you think, God forbid, there's a fire, how easy can it jump from one building to another? If that did turn out to be an issue, are you hard and fast on 2 studios? Or if one studio would give a little breathing room from a safety standpoint, are you thinking in those terms also?
yeah, at the beginning point of view, that can be, flexible in that case, but knowing right now, there are already 4 units, basically 4 units are A, B, C, and D, which is pretty much next to next, wall to wall. Knowing
Yes.
that as this plan, I was imagine that will be, building, expanding, basically.
Sure, but then your neighbor's safety then comes into the calculation as well.
Right.
because-
I mean, it looks to me, if you go across the back line, there's 50 feet. So if you took that line and ran it straight up, you have approximately 50 feet from the edge of the building to the property line. So if she went with 2 units that were, whatever, 12 or 13 feet wide each, because they're more they're more space going front, that, the ones you have now are front to back. more or less,
Correct, it's basically the building facing River Styx for the front entrance. And then there's a back entrance for that 4 units. So what I'm saying, that shall be expanding
Yeah.
the next 2 in extended. So
That's
in that,
going up the hill,
You'd
it's
still
going
be-
up the hill.
there is not, it's a flat
It's-
land,
she'd still
right,
have-
empty.
If she went 25 feet or even a little more, I don't know what the side yard, so if she went 30, she would still have 20 feet of open, of side yard. You know, from the corner of the new building over to the neighbor's property.
And you have a ten.
This is 50, I mean, I just sketched this in, this is 50 feet from the existing structure over to the property. So if she went 25 or 30, she would still have 20 feet before she gets to the property line, 20 feet of open space. And you would be planning on accessing everything through the back, correct?
Right, there should be front and back for that
Okay, yeah, but
safety.
You're gonna park, everything's gonna park, because obviously there's
Correct,
no room
yes,
in the.
there's, well, one good thing about the property, there's a very big parking spot. Knowing, you know, partially is for Toussaint High, but there's still very empty, big parking lot. As far as I'm concerned, for that blueprint that's shown, knowing there was a residential zoning back there, was still extension of the parking that can be used for that, you know, residential alone itself. So, I mean, you know, it's a very big parking space. On the other hand, the left side of the side building was, right now is pretty much empty lawn.
I mean, I don't think the county would give her a hard time, because nothing is changing there, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, you're just extending, everything is coming in off of a borough road instead of a county
She's
road.
not changing her entry.
No.
That's
I
just-
am not,
that's-
yeah.
That's the big factor. Mhm.
I mean, I personally don't have a problem with adding 2 units onto the side of an existing commercial structure. I mean, I don't know about the house, that might be a little bit of
The
a,
house is
a
a
little,
reach.
yeah, that's gonna be a tough one to.
What would that be the reason for
Well,
the
it's-
house?
You're creating an entirely new non-conforming use. And you have to have a planning justification why this lot is particularly suitable for that use as opposed to any other lot. Why can't this lot be used for multifamily? Why does it need to have another single-family home other than it's going to be more valuable for you, and making it more valuable for you is not a criteria that the board can use to grant variance relief. So maybe you'll find a planner who will try to justify it, but it's going to be interesting to listen to.
I mean, you already have a non-conforming use. You're taking that non-conforming use building and just adding on to that. You're not creating another totally separate non-conforming by adding a house there. Right, Bill, is that, I mean, you're not taking a bad
exactly.
situation.
You
and
already
making it
have to
worse.
present testimony
Yeah.
about why it's appropriate to grant an expansion of the non-conforming
Yeah.
use. You can argue, you know, I take it this is on sewer and that kind of
Yes.
thing. You have adequate parking. And, you know, you don't have a problem with a well, those kinds of things you can argue.
Well, I do see a well there. Is that the well
Oh,
that
yeah,
you
well,
use?
I'm sorry.
Which on the side
Yes.
exists, well, that's on the plan. Actually, we're not
You have
using
city
that, we
water, correct?
have,
You're on town water.
we do
Yes,
have
yeah.
town sewer and water,
Okay.
yes.
That's maybe just something on an old serve, you know, so,
Yes.
okay.
So with that being said, if someone come across the single home as an issue, are you suggested why not another apartment studio unit in that extent?
Well, what
Or would
happens
that make any
then
difference?
you become too close to the side yard, like 2, I mean, this is just my opinion. 2 would fit in there nicely. 3 is gonna be, you're gonna be too close to the neighbors.
Gotcha.
you know?
Yeah, how about back, I'm talking about Mr. Ray, like back property as you see the, you know, the existing residential there.
I mean, listen, if you could figure out how to get 3 units on that building, you know, without going any closer to the side yard, maybe go back a little bit, you know, I think that would be a little easier than trying to get a single family home, detached home
Gosh,
put up there, you know, so you,
Understand.
if you're just expanding the existing building. Yeah, I think you have a better shot at that than
okay,
trying to ask for the, so
okay.
you would have to come back.
Which
with-
I'm pretty much flexible at this
Okay.
first stage,
Yeah.
you know, I just need to know what right for me to
Yeah.
start, you know,
Yes.
from the
Would it be
first
feasible
step.
to-
Just a question, is there an option of going up? Because we're talking mostly about going sideways.
I mean, I don't know if that's going up, it's gonna, I mean, it looks pretty good the way it is now. If you
Right.
Just continue that, maybe go around the back, because if you go up, then you're gonna get into a lot of expense. you
Okay,
know?
which I have no issue with, meaning I do not, you know, have plan that has to be higher up or
Yeah.
second stories for that matter.
2 spaces per apartment, two parking spaces per
Yeah.
apartment, okay.
So, you know, they would just have to calculate. I mean, I don't see the board as being negative to what you're looking to do, other than, you know, the single family house, I think is gonna
Throw them
be
off
out,
a little
you know,
bit,
so,
okay.
so maybe you would concentrate on. If you wanna try to get that other unit, maybe try to get it on the back of the existing building, if you need 3, you know,
Okay.
but. I mean, I don't have a problem with moving forward with something along those lines, you know, but you're gonna have to go to. There's a lot of engineering and planning and stuff that's gonna be involved with this, because the county's certainly gonna have to look at it and, you know,
Very good. I mean, I'm willing to get through all the steps as long
Yeah.
as, you know,
Yeah. you
I
need
do
an
it the right way
architectural
and-
plan.
right. Okay,
so I mean, I'm not saying no, I mean, I'm okay with moving forward, I don't know how the rest of the board feels.
Without the house.
Without the house.
Without the house.
Without the house, I don't see an issue either.
Well,
I
the
think I would-
devil's in the details.
Well, yeah,
Sure.
now I mean, we're just giving you a say, okay, look.
Right.
Now you're gonna have to come back with something, you know, to show us,
understand,
But
you know, what exactly you're looking to
You
do.
may wanna
I
sit
see.
down with an architect first before you go to the
Yeah.
county
I see,
and see what the
Well, I think-
architect can do for you before you go to the county.
I mean, the county's gonna be you get through them, then I think you're a pretty good fit, but I think the county's gonna be. I don't think they're gonna have much to say on this, you know what I'm saying, because it doesn't change anything, you know, you're not putting new sidewalks in, you're not doing any, you know, you're really not. So,
very well.
I mean, I don't have a problem with you know, moving forward. So
All
I
right,
don't know.
well, that's a good idea to start on point for me.
All right,
Very well then, well, I thank you for your time.
good luck.
Thank you, thank you for, thank you.
Oh, where's my gym? This place is-
No, okay.
All right, next item on the agenda is, the meeting is open to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to address the land use board on any topics related to land use?
Hi, folks. My name's Dawn Baker, 40 Shawnee Road, Hopatcong, New Jersey. This is my husband, Ahmad Baker. I'm basically here pleading for help, I guess. I'm not really sure where to go. I emailed the board the other day. Mr. Haggerty, you were kind enough to get back to me, advising that I should reach out to the municipal prosecutor about a plea agreement the borough made with our neighbors behind us, who caused work to be done that we've been flooding ever since. It's been approximately 16 months now. I have no standing in the municipal court, guys. I didn't file that suit. I can't do anything about this plea agreement that was alleged to have been made by the borough with these people. I'm curious to know how we would go about getting that heard. Again, enforcing a plea agreement that was allegedly made with these people while we continue to suffer damage on our property. I did hear back from Mr. Donegan, who advised that potentially new notices of violations are going to be sent. However, for almost 16 months now, we have been living with water damage continuously flowing. Our patio is destroyed. Water is now going into our crawl space as we get heavier rains. It flows through, it carved out our property. We don't know where to go. We can't even mitigate the damage on our own side without causing our side neighbors problems with the water, who are now also taking on water. So my question is, who do I talk to about the extent of the damage that is happening to us, while they are claiming that the borough is responsible for maintaining their plea agreement and conforming with whatever it was that was agreed to? They're not complying with it.
What was there, new construction above, was it new construction?
It was started as new construction, back in, was it the summer of 2022 was the completion of it. Until they had this additional work done in June of 2023, there was no issue with the
What was
water
additional
flow.
work that was done?
They hired somebody to cut some trees down, and then hired a subsequent landscaper to remove a boulder and 2 tree stumps and other vegetation throughout the back of their property. There's
Was-
literally
was an
nothing
application
left.
Before us?
Yeah,
Just the new home, just the new home.
Just the new home.
just to know, not any subsequent work or anything that was
Yeah,
done
so we
after
gave
that.
granted variances for the new home. I don't know whether Mr. Reschke's office reviewed that to check on the grading or stormwater.
Well, I'm sure he did, because they wouldn't issue
We
a CO.
did, actually. I remember this property. So the house was built per the approved plan. I remember I did come
That's
out
correct.
to this property
Yes.
after stormwater complaints. And following it, it appears that the grading in the rear yard, due to removing this tree, bringing in the equipment back and forth, it looks like the grading was altered. And from there, I believe we issued a notice of violation or another letter.
Was the grading done after they were done with the building?
Well after, sir.
Yes,
over a
so
year.
it was issued that they are responsible for maintaining their property per the approved site plan. I wasn't involved any further after that, but we did notify those homeowners that they had to maintain what was approved per the grading.
And what's the homeowner's position behind you? What is their?
It's an act of God,
It's an act of-
climate change.
Moving boulders is an act of God.
That's our question as well.
I
Well, I
think
don't
it'd
know
be
if this
good.
is, I mean, is this,
It's difficult. This board is not an enforcement
Yeah.
agency, and I think, she is doing the right thing and proceeding through municipal court. I don't know, the board cannot give legal advice. We have to be a little careful, and it's not an enforcement board. But my comment was talk to the prosecutor, see what's going on here. If there was a clear- And then I read the
He did.
document, it seemed to say, well, if there's another problem, you can file another complaint, which.
Yeah, but
well, that doesn't help them.
Can we get the town engineer involved and have him go back and look at the property and see if they changed it from what we approved?
Yeah.
And make suggestions for corrections.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because if we do that, then we
It's no
have a,
different than anybody
No.
like filling their backyard and creating a problem for a neighbor when it wasn't there before, so.
Right.
If I
Pay
may,
attention, Bill.
the landscaper that they had hired excavated through property lines and did not backfill either property correctly. So our property is sinking where they excavated because the fill was not done correctly. So they can't even fix realistically without us being able to fix
Saying,
ours as
okay.
well. It kind of needs it to be in conjunction. You can't fill half a hole.
So they created the hole.
That's correct.
that's where the boulder was?
The boulder and 2 tree stumps, and the individual who they hired took an excavator and decided to just keep digging. We were not home. We came home to a giant crater in our property with an excavator sitting next to it.
Did anybody try getting a hold of the contractor or?
He is MIA. He was in fact the borough's landscaper last summer, and he's uninsured at the time of the damage.
I don't know, I guess we could say, we could have the borough engineer go out and take a look at it and make some recommendations, what has to be done, and if it's, I don't know if the neighbors cause this problem, I don't, that it gets into a legal matter, you know what I'm saying?
The engineer can evaluate
Yes.
whether it was compliance with the approval
Yeah,
and the approved plans. If not, then the engineer can contact and provide that report to the borough, and the borough can act on it through its municipal prosecutor.
so I would say, the homeowner that created the problem would have to have some.
If it's, yeah, if it wasn't built in accord or was disturbance done.
Well, I think
outside
that
of
was
the
all
review,
done because
then
this
it-
didn't happen
yeah.
till quite a bit after the
Yeah,
house was
yeah.
complete, correct?
That is
So-
correct.
so this
We
is,
were fine for
yeah,
11
yeah.
months until they caused this work to be done.
Okay.
So that's where it's at. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll, I don't know, if we're telling you now to have John go out there and take a look at it, or you go out there and take a look at it, see what we gotta do to, or what they have to do to get it squared away,
Mhm.
you know? Bill, you'll be
John-
part of it?
Well, basically, John actually has been involved recently, not to the extent that he's going out and taking a
Okay.
look. But initially, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago and we reached out to the borough attorney and basically his answer was this was more or less a civil matter.
Civil matter, that's what I,
Back away to me, because I was just wanted some guidance and ultimately I did that. Then things got reopened just the end of last week. I spoke to John, I think it was Thursday. He reached out to me on Thursday or Friday. It was Friday. And ultimately he spoke to Mr. Urson and ultimately he said basically that, no, it would be appropriate for me to issue another notice of violation. Ask that it be corrected in 30 days and also ask that the correction be designed by an engineer. So that notice did go out today, in today's mail. But I mean, that's that. Ultimately, when the people behind there have an attorney, she's a very crafty attorney. So of course, in the perfect world, I say, okay, 30 days, it's going to be fixed, or we're going to start issuing summonses. Well, in the nuances, the way these things go, I don't know whether it would happen that quickly. But
they need to.
So ultimately, I mean, that's the intent at the moment. We'll see where we go with it.
I mean, I don't think it's an issue for this board at all. I
It is
mean,
not,
but I understand your problem and I, between the
I
town
just don't
engineer,
know
they
where
gotta,
else
they
to
gotta,
go
we
with
gotta try to
this.
figure it out, you know?
You can get a copy of the notice that went out, that's public record, so you
Okay,
should get
I'll reach
that.
out to you,
You should
Mr.
get-
I don't
Donovan,
think
for
it's an
that.
issue for this board either, but I think, township engineer has the right to go check and see if it was done properly from the standpoint of what we approved.
Well, I mean, that was already established that it was. This was
But this was
done
after
17
the
months
fact.
after, and they
After the
they
fact.
said that they didn't have a problem
But
until,
if it's not that way today,
well, then that was done subsequent to
Right,
the
right.
approval.
Right,
So,
right.
so obviously the homeowner,
To be frank, it doesn't fall on the builder,
yeah.
if that's what you guys are trying to figure
No,
out.
no, no,
As far
no,
as I'm
no.
concerned,
But
we
but
were
it's
fine
it's
until
basically
we
the
weren't.
homeowner that owns the property and the person that they hired to do whatever they were doing, they have to make it right. I mean, you can't dump water on
Hmm.
someone else's property.
Or on the
So
borough
our-
roads even, so if it's pouring down on the borough roads, it's an issue
Yeah.
for the borough.
Yeah.
So I would say, let's take a look at it and then come up with some type of, try to make it work. I mean, you gotta be neighbors, so you gotta, I
So-
can't dump my water on somebody else's property and you
Right.
can't dump it on mine. So it's
Right.
it's more or less a civil.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that it's not technically for you guys, but I guess my question is, where do I go then? Who would we talk to about that plea agreement? Because we have the transcript from, I think
Well,
I
I
sent
don't
it
know
to
what
you
the
folks.
plea agreement, what, did this
Well,
actually go to
that was
court?
through- That was through the municipal court.
Through the
The-
municipal court, and
It's-
the way that they left it was, and these people keep saying that is because they weren't fined from the time they entered that plea agreement until, well, and the notice of violation will go out, but they haven't received any fines between October of 2023 and now. They're making the claim like, see, we don't have to do anything else. They threw a few sandbags on their lawn. All of the water still comes, it just kind of disperses in different ways now. So now I don't just have a straight down, I have it all flowing and curving through the yard. So while the 30 days to correct it through this new violation notice is all well and good, these people continue to not give a damn about a thing that's happening on our side. They don't even go out back. So if there was a plea agreement entered by the borough with the municipal prosecutor, who would I need to talk to?
The municipal prosecutor.
but I'm not a party to it.
We're not part of
Okay, really.
But he's the municipal prosecutor. You can talk, I prosecuted for 35 years. You can talk to the municipal prosecutor. They should be receptive to, it's affecting you. So the court should know it, the municipal prosecutor should know it. And if that doesn't work, I know you don't want to, and I don't want to spend money for you, but you may have to speak to a private attorney and say, this is the situation we have. Should we file a civil case for the damage against? as
To
our
be
property?
frank, we've had one pending because of all of this, but it's, you know how civil court works.
It takes a long time.
16 months later, here we are begging.
It takes a long time, so your option
We're not
is
the
to speak with the
plaintiffs.
prosecutor or speak with a private attorney and see, you can expedite those a bit with a private attorney. It's an order to show cause because it's causing immediate damage to your property. It doesn't necessarily have to go into the 2-year cycle. It can go much, much faster than that.
Well, unfortunately, we started this process with an order to show cause and we are still
Okay.
here. So,
Okay?
and this is why we're just, anyone who can help us to stop them. I mean,
It's just-
even a
it's-
temporary fix, they've been ordered twice now.
It's just
And
not
they
this
haven't-
board. It's just not this board. We're just,
I understand.
first.
I'm asking if you know who else I would go to beyond this board, because a land use to me, this is, we're lay people. We don't know what we're doing. We've
it's the
never
municipal
experienced this
prosecutor
before.
or a private attorney.
So if we call the municipal prosecutor, who would then he need to reach out to enforce such a
Why
plea
why don't
agreement?
you sit and say, can we have 15 minutes of your time? I'd like to sit down with you and talk about what the situation is, what can be done.
Okay, okay, we'll take that advice. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Okay. Mr. Donegan, we'll hang out and wait for that. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, folks, thanks you for your time. Anything you guys can come up with that might be able to help us. In the meantime, you know how to reach me. You all have my email now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else from the public wish to comment on anything? Seeing none, I'll close it to public and bring it back to the board. And I'll wait for Judy to
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
Okay.